Hey guys, Janelle Copeland here. Listen, in this video, I'm going to be answering a bunch of questions about whether or not a baking business can be profitable. Like, can you actually make money selling cakes and baked goods? We're gonna talk about that in this video. Here are the most frequently asked questions that people submit to me. Can a baking business really be profitable? Is a baking business lucrative? Is a baking business a good business? Can I make any money with my baking business? How profitable is a baking business? And can you really make money baking cakes from home or even moving into a brick and mortar? So we're gonna go over all that in this video. Let's dive in. It's no surprise that money and the baking industry are big hot topics, right? I think it's mostly because our industry is comprised of a bunch of people who love what they're doing. They've stumbled into cake decorating or baking of some sort, and then they've decided to turn it into a business, and they don't necessarily like numbers. So if you start a business without really having the business knowledge or background, and you really don't like numbers, there's no mystery that it's difficult for us to then sell our products and make money. Why is that? The baking industry has a reputation for being an industry that is hard to make money in. If you mix in the lack of knowledge around business and financials and numbers with the mindset of scarcity, which most business owners in the baking industry have, along with desperately low margins because we're not doing the proper math on our products, then you kind of get a recipe for disaster when it comes to making money in a business like that, right? In addition to all of that, you combine that with business owners who definitely don't really like to put themselves out there. They don't like to sell their products. As a matter of fact, most people who make really great things think that their products will sell themselves. That is not really a thing. We have to learn how to be great at sales. We have to learn how to be good salespeople because it's not likely that your products are going to fly off the shelf unless you're good at listing benefits and value propositions and talking about the reasons why people should choose you over your competitors. So we gotta get better at selling. Before we move on to whether or not you can actually make money in a baking business, I wanna kind of go over a couple of key categories that I have found after coaching bakers in the baking industry for over 5 years now. If you're first starting out, I'm gonna put you in the beginner category. Nothing is wrong with this category. We all start here. It's just that there's not a huge focus on numbers at this point. Maybe instead you're trying to grow your skills, you're trying to get better at your craft, and you're probably trying to build up your portfolio. At this stage, in the beginning stage, you are saying yes to a lot of things, maybe not focusing so much on your numbers, which can get you in trouble, especially if you're watching a video on how much money you can actually make in your business. So if you're in the beginning stage and you're trying to build that portfolio, but you're not focused on the numbers, it's no mystery that if you stay there, you're gonna wind up being a starving artist, probably broke, and it's going to be very quickly that you run into overwhelm and you find yourself working for free, and then you're resentful, you hate your business, you hate customers, and we don't want that to happen. I want you to move on to the second stage. The second stage of business owners is where people actually care about covering their costs. So maybe you built up your portfolio, maybe you got better at your craft or your skill. Now you're like, okay, I gotta start covering my costs at least. Maybe now you're checking your utilities, you're seeing how much money you're spending in your bank account or your business bank account when you go shopping for inventory. These are the people that are now covering their costs. That's stage 2 of running a business, and I'm really proud if you're at that stage. The problem with being in stage 2 is that you're only covering your costs and you're likely not paying yourself. So we're gonna move on to category 3, which is you got a little more fed up and now you're like, I have to make some money. So you move on to the category of now being an employee. You're willing to pay yourself, which is a huge, questionable controversy in the first place, right? How much should I pay myself? What if I'm in Texas? What if I'm in California? And the reality is I've done so many videos to answer this question, but you have to decide what you think is fair. And if you are in the beginning stages, it's okay to pay yourself $10 or $15 an hour. If you've been doing this for a really long time and you've got some notoriety and people know who you are, it's okay to also charge $100 an hour. You've got to decide what that looks like, but really it's going to come down to what you feel comfortable tacking on as far as a price tag and then selling and passing along to your customers. The reality is if you can't sell a $50 cake and you want to make $100 an hour, then you're in a pickle, right? So you've got to figure out what you feel comfortable adding to the cost of your products in order to pass that cost along to your customers. After you figure out how much you're gonna pay yourself, you're gonna move on to the fourth category. This category is when people understand, like, I'm covering my costs, I'm paying myself, but my business is still not making any money. You're right, it's because you're not factoring in profit. Profit is actually what keeps a business alive. And so if you stopped at the first 3 stages, then congratulations, but you are running a nonprofit organization. If you really want to run a business, we've got to factor in profitability. And there's so much to ask and so much to clarify around that. The going rate for a proper profit margin for those who are making handcrafted, one-of-a-kind, custom-made things with their skills and talents is about 30 to 60%. That's the going rate. You get to decide where you want to land or fall within that 30 to 60 range, but that's what I'm recommending for you. So as you can see, if it's a range of 30 to 60 and a range of what you could pay yourself and everyone's expenses fall within a range, then how much you can make in your baking business is going to be strictly determined by what your costs are and what you're paying yourself. So that's where it gets a little confusing, but really it's not. You get to decide the numbers. You just have to look at the numbers. I've said before that it's not magic, it's math. And so I'm asking you to do the math. If you really are watching this video and you really want to make money, we got to look at our numbers. So let's dive into some things that you can do to help maximize the amount of money that your business is making and what your business is taking home for you. Let's talk about your product lineup. What I see happen oftentimes is people are good at making something. Let's say it's banana pudding, and you start to sell your banana pudding, and then someone says, hey, I love your banana pudding, but I'm looking for a cake for my cousin's birthday this weekend. Do you do that? Out of desperation, you say yes, you figure out how to make a cake, and now before you know it, someone else is now ordering a cake. So now you make cakes and you make banana pudding. The next thing is someone says, well, I really want to get cookies or macarons. And before you know it, you've got a whole product assortment of things that you kind of stumbled into. What I want you to know is that people who care about running a profitable business are not just going to say yes to all things that customers want. They're going to do the math and see how much margin they make on each of these products, right? So I'll give you an example. When I first started baking from home, when I first started the Cake Mamas, I loved so much the art of baking cakes. I loved a TV show, over the top, ridiculous, fondant covered, blah, 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 hand sculpted. That's what I loved. I loved the art. And my dream was to open a bakery where we could serve like all of the celebrities and high-end clients in Los Angeles, because that's where I live. Well, I opened a brick and mortar in Glendora, California. It's a very family-oriented place. There's tons of schools, lots of kids, and it was difficult to kind of kick things off in the beginning because I was selling $1,000 cakes, but people were coming in after school wanting to buy smaller treats to reward their kids. Why? Because we were a neighborhood bakery. So I had to start offering something in order to make my community happy and serve a need that I didn't really know was there. What I found through crunching the numbers was that although I loved the art of making the over-the-top cakes and going on cake wars and doing all that fun stuff, I actually made more selling cupcakes. Why? I could mass produce them, they didn't take so long, they were easy to make, and we could sell out of those every single day. So we kind of wound up becoming a cupcake bakery, not because that was my intention, not because that's what I loved, but because that's what the people wanted, and that's also what kept us in business and made us tons of money. So what I find is that people in our industry, they want to make what they want to make. They want to make what they're good at, but they're not really looking at the numbers or what the demand is or the opportunity to see what, is a good balance of what the customers are asking for and what I'm capable of making and how can I meet that need and kind of fill that gap. So without focusing on your product lineup, you are likely leaving lots of money on the table. Moving on to the second way you can increase profitability and revenue in your business is focusing on your expenses. I know it sounds silly, but here's a question. It's very important. Do you know to the penny how much it costs to run your business? We're talking about your website, your business license, your corporation expenses, utilities, insurance, taxes, and the list kind of goes on. I literally have a list of expenses. What I have found is that people who care about making money in their business are also really worried about where the money is going each month. They usually know to the penny how much it costs them in expenses to run the business. If you know what expenses to expect each month, you'll constantly be focused on growing your revenue so that you can make more money. You'll also realize that in order to make more money, you have to spend more money. Labor, help, ingredients, supplies, utilities, packaging, the list goes on and on. As you gain more experience, this will be less scary and quite enjoyable, to be honest, because you can see what's going in and out. So don't be afraid when I say focus on your expenses. That doesn't mean cut everything out. That means look at it. Like, how much would it cost for you to hire someone else if you then, as a business owner, could free yourself up to go and find more customers, maybe be more active in your community, or close more sales if you have a brick and mortar, or respond to more inquiries if you're running a business from home. So as you gain more experience managing your numbers, looking at your expenses, and investing more and more in your business, not on gadgets, but on tools and things to make your business run smoothly, and more importantly, remove yourself from the day-to-day operations, then you will just gradually increase your sales. Which leads me to the next step. So step number 3, if you want to make money in your business, is gonna sound really simple, but I'm telling you, it's a game changer. Are you focused on setting goals? Do you know where you're trying to go? Are you doing things to get creative? Are you figuring out ways to expand your capacity? When I started from home, it was very easy for me to say that I had outgrown my space, but the reality was I needed to work on improving my skills, I needed to gain experience, and I needed to make more money before I was able to sign a lease for my brick and mortar location. I wanted to be sure that we had really outgrown my home before I signed up for tons of expenses. We looked at things like our close rate, our average transaction, how many customer inquiries were coming in each month, and how many people we were able to actually close and sell based on the amount of inquiries that we were getting. We also looked at things like how many people were visiting our website, how many new followers did we have on social media, and we were constantly holding ourselves accountable to growing those numbers so that we could technically outgrow my home space and then get into a brick and mortar. People aren't usually holding themselves accountable to growth or goals or numbers, and I feel like if we acted like we had a district manager or something that was gonna come in and kind of look at your numbers, and if you didn't cut it, maybe you got replaced. Maybe that's the old school, corporate Janelle talking or thinking, because I used to have a boss. I used to be responsible for generating millions of dollars for a corporation. And so I always ran my business like that. If I was responsible for managing millions of dollars of revenue for another corporation, and if I didn't do a good job, I would get fired and replaced. I kind of looked at my role as a bakery owner just like that. I held myself to standards, thinking that there was someone kind of watching or breathing down my shoulder, getting ready to replace me if I didn't focus on the things that I really needed to focus on in order to grow the business. And I do think that that's what made me really successful for the 12 years that I owned my bakery. So I want to pass that along to you. Could you pretend that a district manager is looking at your numbers and then maybe gonna call you every month to ask you if you've been focusing on managing your expenses or growing your sales? Just something to think about, so that way maybe you can find some accountability and some motivation. So what category do you fall in? Are you paying yourself? Are you barely covering costs? Are you still struggling with pricing? Again, if you're watching this video on can I actually make money selling my cakes, there are so many variables, but it's really gonna come down to your math. I know that it's gonna get easier for you over time, and with practice, you'll gain more confidence, so I'm not worried about it, and I hope you're not either. In the next video, I'm gonna share exactly the steps that you need to take to get yourself to 6 figures. So if you're kind kind of in the beginning stages of your business and you'd like to learn how to clear $100,000 in revenue in your business, stay tuned because I'm going to share those tips with you. Also, I'm thinking about putting a video together where we talk about how much an actual bakery owner can make. If that's something that you're interested in and eventually you want to also own a brick and mortar bakery of your own, let me know because I'd love to share that with you in another video. As always, if this video was helpful, please take the time to like, subscribe, and then share it with someone who you think will also find good value in this. Good luck in your baking business. Connect with me on social, and I can't wait to read your questions and comments. Let me know how I can help support you better, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.